What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm Sunshinery. Make sure to subscribe and like this video.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So we are here to talk about Vanderpump Rules lawsuits. We have a couple lawsuits that are in the works with Vanderpump, two that we've already been discussing, and one brand new one, which is kind of a surprise, but not really, considering the statute of limitations is about to be up. It's a year for privacy stuff. And, well, Raquel, aka Rachel Leviss, has filed a lawsuit against Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix. We are going to go over the lawsuit. We are going to look over the whole filing. We are going to discuss it. I'm going to also insert some clips from Emily D. Baker. If you don't know who she is a wonderful YouTube lawyer. I actually watched the whole Rush trial through her. She's amazing. I've been watching her since, oh my God, back when KJ, aka Without a Crystal Ball, was getting sued by Tati Westbrook, a huge beauty influencer here on YouTube. But she does love to cover all of the Bravo lawsuits, and I love hearing what she has to say because it's from a lawyer's perspective that knows the law, understands it, and can break it down very well for everybody. So, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you are watching this on Rumble still, thank you so much for coming over here and supporting me. If you are seeing this on YouTube, make sure your notifications are set to all so that way you can get notified every time I post a video or go live. And I appreciate all the support from everything that's been happening and just everyone showing me some real sentimental messages of love and compassion, and I appreciate it. So, as we take a look here at the first page, we can see that the plaintiff, Raquel Leviss, is suing Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix. We can also see that Rachel's attorneys are Friedman, Benson, and Sunshine. And those are people that are part of the Bethany Frankel lawsuit with Brandy Granville and a bunch of other ex-Bravo people with that whole movement that she has started. This is not the same lawyer that I will say wrote the cease and desist to the cast back last March. And that will be something we will get into. As we can see here, it says complaint for damages and injunction relief for 1. Eavesdropping, 2. Revenge porn, 3. Invasion of privacy, 4. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. So, these are the points that we need to keep in consideration as we go through this document. These are what she is alleging Tom and Ariana did that she is suing for. As we move on to the first page, well, page 2 really, the preliminary statement. Plaintiff Rachel Leviss is a former cast member on Vanderpump Rules, a reality show produced by Evolution Media and broadcasted by Bravo Media, an asset of NBC Universal. This case arises from a scandal of epic proportions starting in March 2023, stemming from an affair between Leviss and another cast member, Tom Sandoval. Scandoval, as it came to be known, went instantly viral and was the subject of extraordinary press coverage, even in the mainstream media. Scandoval injected new life into a previously failing series, causing its viewerships to explode to unseen levels and making its cast members mega celebrities. Due to a narrative deliberately fomented by Bravo Evolution and the cast, Leviss became an object of public scorn and ridicule. Seems to me you have an issue with Bravo Evolution, and why aren't they named in this lawsuit? I will say that's going to be a theme throughout this whole lawsuit. We're on line 15 where it says, to be clear, Leviss has reportedly acknowledged that her actions were morally objective and hurtful to Madix. She has offered numerous apologies. There is more to the story, however. And I highlighted this part because it's very important. Lost in the mix was that Leviss was a victim of the predatory and dishonest behavior of an older man who recorded sexually explicit videos of her without her knowledge or consent, which were then disseminated, and discussed publicly by a scorned woman seeking vengeance, catalyzing the scandal. Leviss ultimately checked herself into a mental health facility and remained there for 3 months while Bravo, Evolution, and the cast milked the interest her ex-coronation had peaked. To make matters worse, Leviss was misled by Bravo and Evolution into believing that she was contractually barred from speaking out about her mistreatment. As a result, she suffered in silence as Bravo and Evolution watched viewerships explode, and the rest of the cast enjoy unseen levels of public recognition and professional opportunities. Meanwhile, Leviss, who was humiliated and villainized for public consumption, remains a shell of her former self, with her career prospects stunted and her reputation in tatters. Again, it seems like Rachel has an issue with Bravo and Evolution. What do all of this have to do with Tom and Ariana? Besides the whole, she was predatory to a victim from an older man who, well, he shouldn't have recorded her without her permission. And then she then says that Ariana discussed publicly, and disseminated for vengeance to capitalize on the whole scandal. What? Having taken the time necessary to heal mentally and emotionally, Leviss brings this action at long last to attain a measure of justice that has so far eluded her. We then go into who the parties are. We know that the plaintiff is Rachel Leviss, and all relevant times was an individual residing in California, and she was a former member of Vanderpump Rules. Tom Sandoval also lives in California, and he is on a reality show called Vanderpump Rules. Ariana Madix, same thing, lives in California, is on a television show, Vanderpump Rules. Now, the next part are the does 1 through 50. Those are just general lawsuit terms that they put in here. And then we go down to jurisdiction, which we know all parties live in California. So the jurisdiction is going to be in LA, in California. Now, here on page 4, if we go down to line 11, general allegations. So this is what the whole reason of her lawsuit is going to be. A, the hostile and unsafe working environment on Vanderpump Rules. Again, she's not suing anyone in production, Bravo, anyone that works on Vanderpump Rules, Evolution. Tom and Ariana have no say on Vanderpump Rules and what happens. They're just castmates. So this is a little weird, but let's continue and read on. This case centers on Vanderpump Rules, a reality television series that premiered on Bravo in 2013. The series revolves around the staff at Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants in West Hollywood, Sir Restaurant and Lounge, Pump Restaurant, and Tom Tom Restaurant and Bar. Vanderpump, a British restaurateur and former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast member, is the center figure of the series, which focuses on her employees' drama-filled personal and professional lives. The show has aired continuously for over a decade, and its 11th season premiered January 30th, 2024. Leviss was a cast member on Vanderpump Rules from 2016 to 2023. Leviss made her first appearance on the show as the girlfriend of cast member James Kennedy. Isn't it DJ James Kennedy? Oh, but she does include it right here. A DJ prone to violent outbursts and grappling with long-standing substance abuse issues and emotional, oh my God, dysregulations. Which, if you know what dysregulations means, it means impairment of a psychological regularity mechanism. Yeah. And it says it can refer to a wide range of emotions, including sadness, anger, irritability, and frustration. So that's what she is pretty much, well, saying that James has. That's a big remark. An accusation, too. Kennedy, who regularly berated Leviss, falsely accused her of cheating and acted in generally unhinged manner. Some of this was captured on camera, some was not. Leviss eventually warned Kennedy that she would leave him if he did not stop drinking. However, she soon learned that his despicable behavior was not solely a function of alcohol abuse. At Thanksgiving with Leviss's family in Arizona, Kennedy erupted at Leviss's mother and father and kicked her family dog 4 times in an uncontrollable rage. Wow. Those are some heavy accusations. It continue on with Leviss ended their relation 2021 and broke off their engagement. Kennedy's history of violence and dangerous behaviors was well known by Bravo, Evolution, and the cast. Kennedy once physically assaulted then cast member Kristen Doty on camera. That's a heavy, heavy accusation, lady. The footage, however, never aired. Nor has Kennedy faced any repercussions for his actions, which would otherwise be fireable at a minimum due in part to the intervention of his powerful ally, Lisa Vanderpump, who has served as his protector. I do want to say this. What does James Kennedy have anything to do with this? You're not suing him. In 2021, after 3 seasons as a reoccurring character, Leviss was cast as a lead. Like I said, she didn't come in as a lead until season 10. At the same time, however, Leviss was in a vulnerable state due to the breakdown of her engagement with Kennedy, which was, she loves that word, catalyzed by his chronic substance abuse, emotional instability, and controlling behavior. While she had previously moderated her alcohol intake because of Kennedy's heavy drinking, Leviss began drinking much more heavily in the aftermath of the breakup, and that's no one else's fault but her own. Leviss, who encouraged to do so by production, and Scandoval, who believed it would make for better television and readily provide alcohol for her consumption. Oh, so you're blaming Bravo and Scandoval. Or Sandoval. Scandoval. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that does that. Emily D. Baker calls Tom Sandoval Scandoval too, so I'm not the only one. By season 10, Kennedy had resumed drinking again and picked up a new girlfriend weeks after his breakup with Leviss. All of this caused untold harm to Leviss's mental health. Seems like you're putting your mental health onto others. Inducing her to drink more and leaving her vulnerable to what followed. Leviss began confiding in Tom Sandoval, a former bartender at SUR and a cast member since the show's first season. Sandoval had been in a relationship with another cast member, Ariana Madix, since 2014. Oh, finally we get to them and we're on like page 5. But does it say what they did yet? Imbibed and emotionally raw, Leviss began to rely heavily on Sandoval for emotional support. Sandoval in turn began confiding in Leviss about the dire state of his relationship, describing it as a business partnership and casting its end as foregone. Notwithstanding, Madix and Sandoval have been living together in Valley Village, Los Angeles. And on August 10, 2022, Leviss and Sandoval began sleeping together. The affair continued on. Sandoval's relationship with Madix further deteriorated. Although purportedly secret, the affair was, in fact, well known to many cast members and suspected by others. Who knew about this affair? Yes, it was suspected by others, but people did not know what was going on, maybe besides Schwartz, literally. Leviss and Sandoval were not particularly discreet. Leviss is informed and believes, and on such information and brief alleges that Madix knew about it as early as the fall of 2022. Are you fucking kidding me? Rachel is trying to claim that Ariana knew about their affair since the fall of 2022 when it began? Are you fucking kidding me? Indeed, in December of 2022, Madix scolded Leviss and Sandoval for being handsy in public, admonishing them to save the story for season 11. Are you fucking kidding me? Bitch, you better come with some proof, because that ain't proof. At the time, Vanderpump Rules was facing an uncertain future. Interest among the public had waned, and the plot had grown stale. Madix, in particular, was reportedly on the chopping block. Bull motherfucking shit. Show me, bitch. In the absence of a sticky new storyline, there is even reason to believe Vanderpump Rules would have been canceled, which that has been said numerous times that it was not going to be canceled. Even Alex Baskins has talked about this. Madix was aware of these pressures as Sandoval and both were heavily invested financially and reputationally in the shows remaining on the air. Of course, they've been on since season 1. Why wouldn't they want to be invested in the show staying on the air? Like, fucking bullshit, dude. By extension, if the relationship was already on the rocks, and if Sandoval was intent on brazenly carrying out an illicit affair with another cast member, they had every incentive to leak these salacious threads into the storyline Vanderpump Rules so desperately needed. Are you kidding me? This is precisely what happened in a series of otherwise unlikely events. So pretty much they're saying that they wanted to play this out on the show to sacrifice Rachel, pretty much. Are you kidding me? We are now down to B. Sandoval and Madix record and distribute illicit video of Leviss. Well, this is like the first time in like 7 pages or 6 pages that we get to hear what they actually did. On or about March 1st, 2023, Sandoval was performing with his cover band at Tom Tom in West Hollywood when his phone purportedly fell from his pocket and slid, unlocked or otherwise fully accessible, into the crowd. It was reportedly retrieved by an attendee and handed over to Madix. Actually, I believe it was Kristen that grabbed it and gave it to Ariana. Madix, who searched it and found sexually explicit videos of Leviss. Leviss is informed and believes and on such information and alleges that the explicit videos were recorded by Sandoval without her knowledge or consent in or around February 2023. The 2 videos, Leviss had been seen despite her in a state of undressed and masturbation. However, given Sandoval's apparent practice of secretly recording their video calls, Leviss has every reason to assume there are additional illicit videos and or photographs of her that she has not yet seen. Leviss is informed and believes, and on such information and beliefly alleges that Madix obtained at least 2 illicit videos of Leviss and distributed them and or showed them to others without Leviss's knowledge or consent. At minimum, Madix circulated the illicit, videos, but let's go to the next page. Videos to herself and Leviss. She also immediately informed production about what she had found. In addition, many other individuals have demonstrated intimate familiarity with their contents, leading Leviss to believe the circle of recipients is wider. Well, it was almost immediately that she contacted production, but it wasn't about just that. Now, this is where we get into C. Leviss battered after Madix steals and sends illicit videos. So they're trying to blame Ariana for stealing the video and then sending the video, and because of that, Rachel got battered by Scheana? Really? This is a whole new thing to actions have consequences. Jeez. On the night of March 1st, Leviss was in New York with another cast member, Scheana Shay, taping Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. Having finished filming, Leviss and Shay were at a bar when Leviss received a text message from Madix. "You are dead to me." Alongside the message were the 2 videos of Leviss that Madix had purportedly discovered on Sandoval's phone. Leviss experienced a swirl of emotions in response, including shock and fear. Shock because she did not know Sandoval had recorded pornographic videos of her. Fear because these videos were now in the hands of someone who hated her guts and was out for blood. She was terrified Madix would leak them to the internet. Really? If you are that stupid, which Ariana is not, why would she leak that to the internet? Reacting to the revelation in apparent shock and anger, Shay violently assaulted Leviss, shoving her aggressively into a brick wall, punching her in the face, and throwing her phone into the street. The blow to Leviss's face caused a rupture above her left eyebrow and severe swelling and bruising above her left eye. Leviss was told by a treating physician that her busted brow would permanently scar. Shaken, Leviss flew home the next day and informed her family of what happened. Actually, that's not the correct timeline. Why did she include what the physician said about it when the timeline of events was she flew home, then took pictures, then got treated, then filed a restraining order, which then the TPO was dropped because she chose not to move further with it, which made the case dismissed. Why is she going after Scheana? Scheana is not a part of this lawsuit. What does this have to do with it? Now we go on to D. Bravo and Evolution capitalized on Scandoval and covered up defendants' illegal acts. Again, you are not suing Bravo or Evolution, so why are you not suing them and putting everything in this lawsuit that is about them? News of the affair and the aftermath, dubbed Scandoval, broke on March 3rd, 2023, when TMZ first reported on the affair. This initial reporting was quickly followed by a torrent of follow-up stories. By March 4th, tabloids had already began reporting on the pornographic video of Leviss, citing unnamed sources. Although filming for season 10 had already wrapped, Bravo and Evolution had and we go on to the next page, camera crew ready to shoot the next day. Why wouldn't they? They were in the middle of airing season 10 when this was happening, and why wouldn't they pick up the cameras to record it all go down? That's like their job. Scandoval captured the public's attention in a massive way, went completely viral, and injected new life into Vanderpump Rules. It also caused mayhem in Leviss's life, culminating in months-long inpatient treatment at a mental health facility and her departure from the show. Fomented by Bravo and Evolution in conjunction with the cast, Leviss was subject to a public scrutiny with little precedence and became, without exaggeration, one of the most hated women in America. That's a bold statement. On March 4th, 2023, the day after news of the affair had broken, production directed Leviss to film with Sandoval at her Los Angeles apartment. With cameras rolling, Leviss confronted Sandoval for secretly recording pornographic videos of her and storing them unprotected on his phone. Sandoval had not only invaded her privacy and breached her trust, but had also left her enormously vulnerable to a nightmare scenario of the videos leaked on the internet. So this is what Sandoval did to her. Sandoval responded to Leviss' fury with cowardice and lies, calmingly falsely that he had obtained permission to record her. Seeing that Leviss was having none of it, however, Sandoval ultimately offered a reluctant admission and a sheepish apology. A sheepish apology? What a word. Sandoval was clearly rattled after filming ended. An erotic and unsettled Sandoval refused to leave Leviss's apartment in spite of her requests. Leviss was forced to have her sister and brother-in-law pick her up and drive her to their home. So Sandoval wouldn't leave and she left? What? That day, Leviss retained an attorney to mitigate the risk of the illicit videos leaking. Once at her sister's home, Leviss turned off her phone for 2 days, hoping that the heat would die down. I mean, I get it, girl. Now, I do want to talk really quick about these letters that were sent out. Now, on March 6, 2023, There was a letter sent to Evolution and MGM where Leviss's lawyer at the time, because it's not the same lawyer, insisted that the right thing to do is to not air any discussion of the recording of Leviss. And I quote, they said, "Giving life to a recording that was illegally obtained by allowing discussion of it on air would be tantamount to rewarding someone for robbing a bank or shooting someone. We would hope that Evolution and Bravo have sufficient character and restraint to not air any discussion of this illegally obtained recording." Now, when asked to comment on that actual letter that was sent, Rachel's now lawyer, Freeman, wrote, "Clearly, you do not understand what this case is about. If you did understand the actual legal claim, you would not be asking questions about a letter sent to a production company that is not even named as a defendant in the complaint." Yeah, but they should be. "This case is about revenge porn arising from illegally recording and disseminating a sexual video without the knowledge or consent of our client. It is not only a civil wrong, but likely a crime. Let me know if you care to ask a question about the case that is actually being litigated." Well, if it's likely a crime, why wasn't a police report ever made? I mean, that's just some food for thought. Why wasn't a police report made? Okay, so let's go back to page 8 and finish this up. However, media reports suggest Sandoval was in a panic over the on-camera confrontation with Leviss. Specifically, he was concerned that being accused of recording non-consensual pornography would paint him in a negative light. Sandoval reportedly threatened to cease all further filming for the show unless he was granted editor's rights over the scene. Shockingly, Bravo and Evolution obliged his demand. The scene was selectively edited to omit any mention of Sandoval's illicit recordings of Leviss' lack of consent. This was part of, and we go on to the next page, a pattern in practice of Bravo and Evolution throwing Leviss under the bus in favor of Sandoval. Recordingly, someone engaged in sex acts without their consent is a crime. So again, why isn't this reported to the police? There's no police report for this. And Sandoval appeared to have admitted to it on camera, portraying the confrontation as it actually occurred instead of protecting Sleazy Sandoval. Well, they have now nicknamed him Sleazy Sandoval. Protecting Sleazy Sandoval would not only have been truthful, it would have also been good TV. But Bravo and Evolution had apparently decided that Leviss would be their sacrificial lamb. Throughout the ordeal, they have sanitized the story to ensure Leviss would be seen as the arch villain. Well, I would like to object because they both were objected to be the arch villain. I mean, they were both the people that had the affair. And apparently, according to this, they are accusing non-sued parties, Bravo and Evolution, of protecting Sleazy Sandoval and portraying her as a sacrificial lamb, all for good TV. Really? It continues with, on March 7th, Leviss's attorneys sent out cease and desist letters to the cast regarding the distribution of the non-consensual illicit videos. That is where we get the send it to Daryl, which I love so much. And I might insert a clip right here.
Send it to Daryl.
The letters promptly leaked. Leviss also filed a police report and applied for a temporary restraining order against Shay, the cast member who had assaulted her on March 1st. Despite initially bragging about having punched Leviss, Shay began to adamantly deny it in public. So she initially bragged about it. When did she initially brag about it? She accused Leviss of lying and abusing the court system. This was in spite of Shay's own private and televised admissions of guilt and Leviss' visible facial injuries. Wait, what? When did she ever televise an admission of guilt to punching her? That never happened. By March 10th, Leviss had decided to check herself into a mental health facility. Sandoval, for his part, tried to talk her out of it and begged her to participate in the reunion. Leviss reluctantly agreed to wait on the condition that a mental health professional be on set in case things got out of hand, which I don't think was a non-reasonable demand. Given her fragile mental state and the fury brewing among the cast, Bravo agreed, then changed their mind. Bravo. But again, they're not getting sued here. Leviss then requested her publicist and confidant, Juliet Harris, be permitted to attend. Bravo agreed and then changed its mind. Bravo. By that point, the reunion was the next day. Too soon for Leviss to pull out, and she had no reasonable alternatives but to participate. She also feared the legal implications of refusing to appear. What illegal implications? Given the draconian terms of her contract. And so she did. But without the support she felt she needed and that Bravo had previously offered to provide. At the same time, press coverage was slanted decidedly against Leviss, who, and we go on to the next page, became an object of scorn and ridicule. Other cast members were vilifying her in interviews and waging a public campaign against her on social media. We are on page 10, and we are still not hearing anything about what Tom and Ariana did, just what everybody else did. Come on now. They could not have done so without the blessing of Bravo, again not being sued here, which pre-approves all cast media appearances and exercises tight control over public messaging. Bravo had clearly decided this feeding frenzy was good for ratings. Various cast members and Bravo itself also released their own Scandoval merch to cash in on the explosion of interest, including an I Survived Scandoval long sleeve shirt currently available for sale on Bravo's website. If you'd like to buy one, just check out the link down below. It is clear that Bravo, again not being sued here, deliberately sacrificed Raquel, I said Raquel, not Leviss, for the sake of its commercial interests, from its refusal to allow her the opportunity to tell her side of the story and defend herself, which she repeatedly begged for permission to do. Without expectation, her pleas fell under deaf ears. Wait, what? She sat down for multiple times for interviews. She was able to sit alone and talk without everyone there, too. And I believe it was 2 times, privately at least, yeah. Once with production and once with Andy. She had the opportunity to speak. She might not have felt like she had the support, but she had the opportunity to speak. As a result of this asymptomatic coverage, the public was not made aware of the extent to which Leviss was victimized by the ordeal or the toll it was taking on her mental state. As the feeding frenzy reached a crescendo, Leviss was subject to a gag order, permitting her from discussing Sandoval's gross invasion of her privacy. Wait. Who put a gag order on her? Who did that? Who put a gag order on her? Madix's vengeful response, Bravo's cover-up of the veracity of her allegations of physical assault against Shay, who was publicly calling her a liar, accusing her of playing the victim and being falsely backed by others. Well, who was it? Who falsely backed them up or her up? Was it Tom or was it Ariana? These are the people you're suing. Who backed those statements up? In sum, while the rest of the cast savaged Leviss's reputation and lied about her in the press, dumbing up not only interest in Vanderpump Rules, but also hatred of her, Leviss herself was involuntarily silent, muzzled by Bravo for the sake of the ratings. So now she's muzzled by Bravo. While all of this may have been good for ratings, it was catastrophic for Leviss, the human being who was forced into hiding and subject to death threats directed at her and her family. Sandoval, on the other hand, received a development deal from Bravo for a job well done, along with a pay raise. Whoa, those are big statements there, girl. What development deal, though? What development deal? Because I don't know of any. And a pay raise? Yes, they get a slight pay raise every year the longer they're on the show. So, of course, he's going to get a pay raise for the next year. You did too, girl. Are you forgetting that? You just didn't like the number that they gave you. And now we're on to E, and now we're going to go after Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen exploits Leviss's fragile mental state. As expected, the reunion was a train wreck for Leviss of epic proportions. With full knowledge of her then dire mental state, Bravo and Andy Cohen, both people not being sued, took no steps to mitigate Leviss's abuse, even as Cohen himself expressed concern about her mental health going into and we go on to the next page. Reunion. One fellow cast member, Katie Maloney, had been openly threatening to light her on fire. Oh, now we're quoting the reunion, I see. Shay had violently assaulted her. During the reunion itself, Leviss was on the receiving end of unrelenting missives. Diabolical, demented, subhuman. A poo-poo head. Objection, Your Honor. Objection. I believe that it was James who is calling Sandoval a poo-poo head and a worm with a mustache. I don't think the poo-poo head was towards her. So, objection, Your Honor. It continues with, fuck yourself with a fucking cheese grater. You fucking suck. You're disgusting, and I wish nothing but the worst fucking shit that could ever happen to a person on you. As she was berated, abused, and dehumanized by the rest of the cast, above all, Madix, Leviss remained largely silent and stoic in apparent shock. Later, Cohen remarked guiltily that he did not know how long she would last on set, and chalked up her apparent stockism to being really medicated. But Cohen and Bravo already knew that Leviss was indeed medicated, something neither surprising nor remotely funny in light of what was happening to her, which I don't really think anyone laughed when they said that. No one even, it was like a little ha-ha that Schwartz threw the Xanax at somebody and said, hey, do you need one? Or offered one to somebody. He didn't throw it, he offered it. But we all took that as like, this is all hard for all of them involved. People that are friends and people that are in the mix. And people, yes, needed to remain calm and not have anxiety and all of that during the reunion. It was not a joke that people were medicated because of everything going on. Now we move down to line 11. F. Bravo and Evolution sabotage Leviss's recovery. What? When the fuck did that happen? Okay, well, let's read. By the time of the reunion, Leviss was utterly battered physically and mentally, and shortly thereafter, she checked into a mental health treatment facility and remained there for 3 months. Even in treatment, however, Leviss could not escape from the claws of Bravo and Evolution. She was warned repeatedly by them not to breach her confidentiality obligations, which contain no exceptions for medical treatment or therapy. Now, I'm going to stop here for a second because I did watch Emily D. Baker's stream and her covering all of this as well. And she said here on line 16, nope. They cannot be legally tenable that she cannot disclose what she's been through for medical treatment or therapy. She might not have known that, but that is not legally tenable in California, according to Emily D. Baker, which I will link her stream down below as well, so you can get a lawyer's perspective that knows the law and how these filings and all that work and what she has to say regarding everything. It was a great, great video. I might play a little piece here and there as well, so stay tuned for that. Let's keep moving on, though. As a result, Leviss was fearful of facing legal repercussions for her honesty and was forced to walk on eggshells. This caused her extreme stress and severely stunted her progress in treatment. Unfortunately, that did nothing to stop the ridicule. When Leviss checked into treatment, she gave her dog Graham, oh no, she's bringing Graham into this, to her parents for safekeeping. Graham was traumatized by years of abuse at the hands of Kennedy and was not an easy dog to manage. Oh my God. Big accusations. After a number of incidents, including one in which he bit Leviss's mom down to the bone and caused her permanent nerve damage, oh my God, keeping Graham became untenable. Leviss's family handed him over to a no-kill rescue organization and requested its discretion given the intense public scrutiny of Leviss. Instead of rehoming Graham as promised, no, they did rehome Graham. You just didn't like the home that he was rehomed to. The rescue organization, knowing full well, and we move on to the next page, that Kennedy had a history of animal abuse, contacted Lisa Vanderpump, who gave Graham back to Kennedy. That is some slanderous remarks, and actually it was vice versa. Yeah, the shelter did contact Lisa Vanderpump, who then asked if Kennedy wanted Graham back, since he did at one point have ownership of the dog when you guys were together. And if these were things that were happening when you guys were together, why didn't you do something about it then? Why? That makes no sense to me. Anyways, let's move on. All of them, with Bravo's blessing, then seeded a false and malicious narrative that Leviss had tried to get the dog put down. No, they did not make false and malicious narratives because of Bravo. Bravo didn't give them that permission. It was all the outlets that were covering it. They were only saying, this is what I read, this is what I saw, this is what I read, because there was a lot of articles at that time looking into it, investigating it, making assumptions, all of that. We did not know exactly what went down until it aired on season 11. We only knew what they reported on, which not all reports are accurate. They were assuming in those reports. They were making assumptions. Why isn't she going after the news articles that reported this shit? This is just, Are you the only one that's frustrated? Let me know down below. At around this time, rumors were circulating. I'm glad she's mentioned rumors. Also seeded by Bravo. How do you know? Do you have proof? And the cast. Do you have proof? That Leviss was actually on vacation and had faked her hospitalization. No. Those again were news articles. Anyone from the cast, I've listened to Lala's podcast, I've listened to Scheana's podcast, I've listened to them on other people's podcasts, and they all said, if that is where she is, then I hope she's getting the treatment that she needs. They did not have 100% confirmation that that's where she was. Like, that's not their job. And if they read something, they read something. They can elaborate off of, hey, I read this and this is what that said. And if that's what that really is, what she's doing, then I wish her all the best. How is that wrong? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little flustered with this whole thing. Illustrating the depths of its moral turpitude, Bravo refused to publicly acknowledge that Leviss was in fact inpatient mental health treatment, presumably for the fear such disclosure would undermine the storyline. No, it's also against HIPAA violations and things like that. If they break that contract and say, hey, she's here, why are you putting that on them? And again, they're not getting sued here. Not only would they not do so, they prohibited Leviss, through her publicist, from doing so. All of this caused even more public scorn for Leviss, further unjustified harm to her reputation, and increased threats to her and her family's physical safety. They cannot make her publicist not put something out. In short, Leviss has been battered and broken, irrevocably in service of a salacious storyline. Unsurprisingly, Bravo and Evolution badly wanted her to return for season 11. However, it was abundantly clear that they completely failed to understand or appreciate the toll Scandoval had taken her. They warned her, unironically, that she must return to avoid having her story told by others, and reaffirmed her prohibition against speaking to the press on her own terms. Well, clearly she'd thrown that out the window by starting her own podcast. But the depths of her mistreatment in season 10 went far beyond what is acceptable, even in reality television. And Leviss knew that returning to the show meant risking a descent back into the depths of despair from which she just emerged. Okay. Again, none of this has anything to do with Tom or Ariana. It has a lot to do with the network, who is not even a defendant in this case. I mean, how many fucking pages have we talked about the network? Scheana, Allie, James. I mean, they're not even defendants in this case. Like, literally, where is she going with this? Meanwhile, everybody else got what they wanted. Vanderpump Rules remains on the air, continuing to milk the storyline. Leviss catalyzed? Wait, what? Do you really want to allege that Rachel was the one to catalyze the storyline to this? Is that what you want to put here in this? Like, really, is that what you want to put when she was the one having the affair? They aren't even shifting that onto Tom. That's really weird. Well, Scandoval emerged with significant higher pay and a development deal with Bravo. Again, what development deal? Please tell us. Madix has become a bona fide darling of pop culture, has a new boyfriend, and is starring on Broadway. Okay. For Leviss, the future is less rosy. She brings a suit to validate her legal rights, if not to restore her sullied reputation. Do you really think that this will restore her reputation by doing this? I don't think so. But let's go on to the next page. Well, it looks like the allegations are over now, and we are on to the causes of actions. So, out of 12 pages, Rachel is alleging that Tom Sandoval, without Rachel's consent or knowledge, recorded FaceTime videos together where Rachel was engaged in sexual activity. Not okay. There doesn't seem to be any police reports, but that is the allegations against Tom. Now, the allegations against Ariana are that she allegedly sent it to herself and then sent it to Rachel. It is also alleged that others have seen it, but they don't have to really allege it. It's really alluding to it because they don't have any true allegations of that. So let's see what the cause of actions are. So this is the first cause of action. Eavesdropping. Now this is only against Sandoval, and this is through 1 through 50 is inclusively through him. So if we move down to line 6, it says, Leviss and Sandoval engaged in numerous private and confidential video conference communications from 2022 to 2023. Unbeknownst to Leviss and without her consent, Sandoval sporadically recorded their communications. Leviss had an objective responsibility exemption that these communications were private and objectively believe that they were not being recorded. At no prior point to the confidential communications was Leviss informed that Sandoval was recording their communications, nor did Sandoval obtain Leviss's consent to be recorded. Now, I understand what he recorded were like sexual acts, and they have a whole different sex revenge law and stuff, but I wonder if they are like a one-party or two-party consent state, where like if it's a one-party consent state, they only need one of the parties to consent, which could be him. And if they are a two-party consent state, then they're going to need both parties, which means including her, to know that she is being recorded. So I'm just wondering, because they're talking about communications, they aren't talking about the video of what they were doing. She said communications. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out. I will look that up and let you know in just a second, because I'm curious. And as I'm looking it up, it says two-party consent, which, like I said, it means that it is illegal to record a conversation without the consent of all parties. This can definitely be a big issue. And that's where the eavesdropping comes in, because they have a California Penal Code 632, which prohibits eavesdropping, which includes recording a conversation without everyone's consent. So that's where this is coming in. Then at 49, it moves down to Leviss is informed and believes, and on such information and beliefly alleges that, brief allege is that some of the unlawful obtained recordings depict her in a state of undress and engaging in sexual acts. And there's that Penal Code 632 that I was just talking about. But he also has violated Penal Code 630, 632, 637, 1, and California Constitution. And at line 20, it says that she wants these statutorial damages, she wants actual damages, injunction relief, and equitable relief. Leviss also seeks to recover her attorney's fees and cost of all of that. Okay. Now, line 32. Leviss is informed and believes on such information and beliefly alleges that in performing the acts hereon alleged, Sandoval acted with oppression, fraud, and malice, or alternatively, that Sandoval acted in such conscious disregard of Leviss's right to privacy that as a direct and proximate result of his collective and individual acts, that Leviss is entitled to punctual damages in an amount to be determined at trial to punish him and to deter such conduct in the future. Now we are on the second cause of action, which this is against Madix and what she wants from her. Line 6, on March 1st, 2023, Madix discovered sexually explicit videos of Leviss on the mobile phone of Sandoval. The videos depicted Leviss in a state of undress and engaged in sexual act within the meaning of the statute. Sandoval recorded the videos without the knowledge of or consent of Leviss, who had been a reasonable expectation of privacy that their communications were not being recorded and would stay private. Leviss is informed and believes, and on such information and briefly alleges, that Madix obtained the video of Leviss from Sandoval's phone without Sandoval's authorization. Leviss informed and believed on such information and briefly alleges that Madix obtained the video of Leviss from Sandoval's mobile phone and distributed and eliminated them to others, included but not limited to Madix herself, Leviss, and other individuals whose identities are not currently known to Leviss, because she doesn't know for a fact if Madix has actually sent these to other people. She only knows it was sent to her from Ariana, and that Ariana had to have got it from his phone and sent to herself to be able to send it from her phone to Leviss. And then we can go down to line 21, where it says that Madix displayed the videos or disclosed their consents to the individuals who may not have received them directly, included but not limited to Bravo, Evolution, members of the Vanderpump cast, and other individuals whose identities are not currently known to Leviss. So they are now saying that because of this, Madix gave the videos to individuals without their consent, and those individuals they believe were Bravo, Evolution, other cast members, and other individuals that they do not have their names. And the last part, line 25, Leviss was not aware that such illicit videos had been captured by Sandoval and thus could not have been consented to their distribution. Madix distributed, disseminated, shared, and publicized the illicit videos intentionally and knew or reasonably should have known that she did not have Leviss's consent. Where did she publicize the illicit videos? Because that's a big allegation. She made it public that these videos existed, but she did not make the videos public. So, I don't know. Now on page 15, it says, Leviss has suffered grave emotional, physiological, financial, and reputational harm as a result of Madix's distribution, dissemination, and publication of the illicit videos. The illicit videos were recorded when Leviss was in a private residence where Leviss reasonably expectation of privacy was in its zenith. Okay. As a direct and proximate result of Madix's actions, Leviss has suffered and will continue to suffer general and special damages alleged hereon in an amount to be proven at trial. And if we go down to line 9, it says, Madix acted with oppression, fraud, and malice, or alternatively that Madix acted in such conscious disregard of Leviss's right to privacy that as a direct and proximate result of her collective and individual acts, Leviss is entitled to punctual damages in the amount to be determined at trial to punish her and to deter such conduct in the future. Now we are on to the third cause of action, invasion of privacy. These are against both Sandoval and Madix. So at line 19, it says, as alleged above, Sandoval invaded Leviss's privacy by, among other things, A, secretly recording their private communications, and B, capturing sexually explicit footage of Leviss without her knowledge or consent in a manner highly offensive to a reasonable person. Sandoval knew or should have known that Leviss had a reasonable expectation of privacy such that their private conversations would remain private and that she was not being secretly recorded. Leviss could not have consented to Sandoval's recording sexually explicit footage of her because she did not know he was doing so. The footage was captured during private, intimate communications that Leviss had every reason to believe would remain private. The invasion of Leviss's privacy by Scandoval, I said Scandoval, was offensive and objectionable to Leviss and to a reasonable person of ordinary sensibilities. As alleged above, Madix invaded Leviss's privacy by, among other things, A, obtaining the illegally recorded sexually explicit footage of her without authorization, and B, distributed, disseminated, and publicizing in a manner highly offensive to a reasonable person. A reasonable person would not think their boyfriend was having sexual acts or videos of their best friend on his phone. Madix knew or should have known that Leviss had a reasonable exception of privacy such that sexually explicit photographs, but footage of her recording without her knowledge or consent would not be obtained without authorization by a third party and distributed, disseminated, and publicized. Leviss never consented to Madix obtaining illegally recorded sexually explicit footage of her and, again, disturbing, disseminating, and publicizing it. The invasion of privacy by Madix was offensive and objectionable to Leviss and to reasonable person of ordinary sensibilities. Again, you are making some big words there to, characterize these people. As a direct and proximate result of said wrongful conduct by Sandoval and Madix, Leviss has suffered damages in the amount to be proven at a trial. Leviss informs and believes, and on such information and briefly alleges that in performing the act hereon alleged, Sandoval, Madix, and each of them acted with oppression, fraud, and malice, or alternatively, that Sandoval, Madix, and each of them acted in such conscious disregard of Leviss's right to privacy that as a direct and proximate result of their collective and individual acts, Leviss is entitled to punctual damages in the amount to be determined at a trial to punish them and to deter such conduct in the future. We are now on to our fourth cause of action: intentional infliction of emotional distress. This is also against Sandoval and Madix. Line 27. In doing the things and acts described hereon, Sandoval and Madix engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct that transitioned the bounds of human decency. Leviss has suffered emotional distress as a result of the actions committed by Sandoval and Madix hereon described, including severe emotional distress, physical manifestations of emotional distress, anxiety, shock, embarrassment, loss of self-esteem, disgrace, humiliation, powerlessness, sleeplessness, and a loss of enjoyment of life. Leviss's severe emotional distress prevented her from performing daily activities and obtaining the full enjoyment of life. I also think there were a lot of other things that caused all of that, not just a video. That was just the forefront of everything. There was a lot of other things involved with her and what she did that she had these, emotional distress, anxiety, shock, embarrassment by what she did. Not by a video that no one ever saw but maybe, 3 people now. Rachel, Tom, and Madix. I don't believe anyone else has seen this video. Personally, in my opinion. Line 7. Sandoval and Madix's acts were at all times extreme and outrageous and intended to cause Leviss emotional distress or performed with reckless disregard for the probability of causing such emotional distress. Okay. As a direct and proximate result of the foregoing conduct, Leviss has been and will continue to be damaged in an amount to be proven at trial, included but not limited to emotional distress, anxiety, pain, fear, physical injuries that has nothing to do with Madix or fucking Sandoval. Let me just point that out. Medical expenses and financial loss. That's going to be hard to prove, but do what you got to do. All in the amount according to proof and in execs of the judicial minimum of the court. Now, from 14 to 19, it's the same thing that she's been saying on every fucking page. Now we're down to line 20, prayer for relief. So this is what she wants to be relieved from, and these are the things she wants in that relief. Pretty much, she wants compensation for damages and other special, general, and all those crazy damages according to the proof that she has. She wants temporary and permanent injunction relief, ordering defendants to cease distribution of illicitly obtaining recordings of the plaintiff, including those depicting her intimate body parts or engaging in sexual acts, and ordering the destruction and deletion of all electronical and physical copies of said recordings in their possessions, custody, or control. For civil penalties pursuant to statute, and now we go to the next page, for an award of punctual or exemplary damages according to proof, for costs of suit, attorney's fees, and expert fees, that are pursuant to the statute, including California Civil Code 1708.85E. For pre- and post-judgment interest at the maximum legal rate, that she wants the highest rate possible that she can get. But she's not about the money. Okay, honey. And for such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. And then we have, her attorney's signatures and all of that good bullshit. And the very last page, it says, plaintiff hereby demands a trial by jury on all issues so triable. And again, attorney signatures. That is the lawsuit from Raquel Leviss to Ariana Madix and Tom Sandoval. Now, I will say they did include in the lawsuit at the beginning pages when they were naming who the parties were, they did include a paragraph that included that they can add to this different people's names. So there might be more people added to this. Maybe they're intending to add more people. Maybe they're intending to add Bravo. But as of right now, this lawsuit is only against Tom and Ariana. So everything that they were talking about that did have nothing to do with Tom and Ariana, in my opinion, should not have been in the lawsuit. I get trying to prove, the context of the situation and all involved, but you are there to say, this is what these people did, and this is what we want to happen, and this is what we want to be awarded after that judgment has been made. I do know that some people are saying, maybe this is Rachel's way of saying that they knew about this the whole time. They made this a storyline, that it was them creating this for Bravo and all of that. I don't think that is true at all. I do not think that Sandoval was like, all right, our relationship's on the rocks, fucking Ariana. I like fucking Rachel. I think she's a cool girl. I'm going to fuck her. And then from there, we're going to pretend that, we had this huge affair and all of that. And, we're going to sacrifice my fucking livelihood and your fucking livelihood to do this. This is not what that show is about. Their show is depicting what is really happening in their real life. That has always been how Vanderpump Rules has been. We see it from how it's happening. And I don't think that anybody did this for a storyline. But the most important thing here is I want to know what you all think about this. I want to know your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions, all of that. So please leave me a comment down below and let me know how you are feeling about everything we just went over and what you think will happen. I'm going to, after reading everything, I'm going to take my first bet here, and I am going to think that they will, of course, move forward with this, and that hopefully there will be a resolution. But at this point, I also feel like they could possibly move forward and showing different things. Yes, this was something that they did, that he should have never recorded her without her permission. And this was, yes, a scorned woman who had looked at a boyfriend's phone and not realized, this was even something that she would even see. And she acted in the moment and the heat of it all. And she never did anything besides send that to her. She had no intentions of sending it to others. These are all allegations. This is remarks that she has been making that cannot be proved anywhere else that anybody had these. And so on. So that's what I'm thinking will be the next, because we're going to have to receive what the defendants are then going to say regarding this complaint and how they feel regarding the lawsuit. So as soon as those are filed, I will be on the lookout. I will get them for us, and I will put them here on my channel like I have been for you all. I wanted to go over this lawsuit first because we did get Tom's answer to the house situation. I will be going over that in another video, so stay tuned for that. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. Let me know what you think down below. I'm so happy that YouTube finally has cleared up everything and my channel is back to normal and we can get on a roll with things. I will be going live and we will be talking about Vanderpump Live. So make sure you are subscribed to my channel with all notifications on so you can get notified every time I post a video or go live. I will be covering other things besides Bravo. Besides Vanderpump, I will be covering other things in Bravo, and as well as other content creators and influencers here within this platform and other platforms. So if you like that kind of content, stay tuned for more because I will be bringing it to you all. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will see you again here on my channel soon. Bye, everyone!
Winning life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean,